Yo, what's up? This is the truth behind the beef between Cassidy and your boy T.I. or T.I.P. Tip, whatever way you want to call it. But Cassidy came out and was supposed to be the biggest superstar to come out since DMX. They had Cassidy gonna be the newest sensation to blow the door wide open. He had a little buzz, then his second CD, I'm a Hustler, was coming out, and then the door got closed on him. He had the case. He's locked up. And while he's locked up over this case, and it was an emergence of the South really coming in hardcore and taking over while he was gone. And you had the Jeezys, the T.I.s, the Young Jocks. You know, all of these guys started to be the new face of what rap was gonna be. And people were like, how did this happen? You know, like, where did this even come from? Because it wasn't making sense to them. Like, this is the new ball game now. So when Cassidy came out, the avenue for him, and he watching how people was taking the majority of his ideas and stuff that he had done on his second CD that he didn't get to really promote that well because he went to jail. And all the ideas and everything off that album was pretty much scratched. From Young Jock, taking his little, you know, the Hustler dance, to, you know, T.I., you know, when he had the song Cassidy versus the Problem, and Cassidy the Problem versus the Hustler, and once that went down, and now everybody wanted to battle themselves. You saw Cannabis do it. You saw all these other people want to battle themselves. And T.I., when he named his album T.I. versus T.I.P. at the award show, they had a promo little thing set up promoting it, with T.I.'s going back and forth with himself, arguing. Everybody was so excited about the project. And I'm like, do anybody remember the fact that I'm reading a message, I'm sorry about that, but does anybody remember the fact that Cassidy did this first and much better? But they were like, no, you missing the point though. Because I'm like, you missing the whole point. The point is that T.I. making his album based off that. Cassidy just made a song. You know, people don't understand how concepts work, I guess. So I expect these type of responses. So when T.I. comes out, he addresses it. I mean, Cassidy come out of jail. He started doing his freestyles and he started addressing it. Like, look, man, dudes is still, you know, stealing from me and doing all this. And T.I. was like, look, I don't even know, homeboy, man. I ain't even hear that song. That stuff ain't even make my airplay. So T.I. acting like he never even heard of Cassidy's song, Cassidy the Hustler versus the Problem. That this was an idea he thought of like years ago, and he wanted to do it because he was like, man, it's always T.I. and it's Tip, T.I. versus Tip since like his first album. So he said, I'm gonna name this album T.I. versus T.I.P. You know, Tip, rather, because people get mixed up sometimes. You know, T.I. is more the businessman, and Tip is from the streets, and I'm more leaning towards T.I. now than Tip, and everybody know me from the streets still call me Tip. So he thought this is just a microcosm of it. So Cassidy wasn't on his lane. Some people say T.I. dissed him on the next album. Nothing really connects to Cassidy. I didn't ever hear anything like really that jumped out at Cassidy to make me even put that in this video. He never addressed it, except for when they were in they did a show in Philly, and he wanted to go meet with Cassidy. Like, where he's supposed to be the king of Philly, where's he at? So he wasn't there. So T.I. was like, well, where is he? I keep hearing, I don't hear this guy. He keep falling off the radar. So basically, T.I. was waiting for Cassidy to get back on. Like, everybody waiting to see this guy get back on, and his album flopped. So the beef never really went anywhere. And then while he was basically out the game, Swiss had gave up on him and everything else, Meek Mill started dissing Cassidy, and they had their little thing, and then T.I. put a message on there in the middle of it, like, man, tell these haters to catch up. And telling him, calling, Cassidy a sucker. So, it was, everybody was getting it at that time. Cassidy was just lyrically lacing everything in sight, dissing Meek Mill and T.I., MMG, everybody who wanted to be down with what was going on. So that was a fun little thing that could have went somewhere, but T.I. wasn't going to address it because it wasn't going nowhere. Meaning, like, where was this going? You weren't going to get nothing out of it because Cassidy was done. Like, there was nothing more for Cassidy to do. He had to come back and get hot in order for Tip to say something to him. And that just wasn't finna happen. I would have loved to seen this play out at a bigger scale, but you know how when something's done, it's done. This was it. It was just through. And it didn't really escalate to anything, but he had a point. People were stealing from him, stealing his concepts, stealing his flows, all this stuff while he was gone. He figured he wasn't going to use it. And T.I. kind of jumped into his spot in the lane that he had and just took off with it. So for T.I. to say he didn't know, like, I ain't know that was his style, I think that's a flat out lie. I think he knew. He knew 100% what he was doing. He liked the idea of it and wanted to make it into an album. That's all. Just pay homage. No need to lie about it. These guys so afraid of what's going to happen with their image. And then we saw what happened to him, like, right after that, when he went down. So, it's your boy Carcino. I'm out. Enjoy your day.